Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andy Rodriguez. I'm the director of the St. Paul Parks and Recreation Department, and it is an honor to welcome you all to the debut of the Alebrijes Keeper of the Island exhibit. This remarkable exhibit celebrates creativity, culture, and community spirit brought to life right here on Raspberry Island. First, I want to recognize Aaron Johnson Ortiz for his vision and leadership in making this exhibit possible. Thank you, Aaron, for your tireless commitments to sharing and celebrating Latino art and storytelling. To Fernando, Edgar, and Alberto, you are all incredibly talented artists. Your work is nothing short of breathtaking. These sculptures are more than art. They're living expressions of heritage and imagination. We are so grateful to host them here in the city of St. Paul. This exhibit would not exist without the many community partners, elected officials, and others who united across institutions and borders. Your collaboration is what enables projects like this to thrive. Finally, a heartfelt thank you to all of our Parks and Recreation staff for the trade support and everything to make this a reality. Your dedication to elevating our public spaces like Raspberry Island ensures that they are all places of beauty, belonging, and inspiration for all of us. So again, thank you to everyone who has brought this exhibit to life. And with that, I'd like to welcome Aaron Johnson Ortiz to say a few words.
Hola, buenas tardes, ¿cómo estamos? Ay, pero no se me duerman, por favor. Good afternoon. My name is Aaron Johnson Ortiz. I also go by Aaron. And I don't know what to say. We've been working on this project for almost 5 years. And I want to first acknowledge, primeramente quiero agradecer a los artistas, Maestro Alberto Moreno y Edgar Camargo. They've been in Minnesota for a little over a month, and they have a couple more weeks to go on their residency. And we have 2 additional artists, Miriam Salgado and Alejandro Camacho, who are arriving to Minnesota in July. This is a living exhibit. I think a lot of people have been a little bit confused about this nature of public art, so let me make some commentaries about it. People know about concerts, public art concerts, right? Generally last about a day or an afternoon. And then people know about permanent outdoor public art, which is like sculptures and murals and stuff like that the last 10, 20 years. This is an ephemeral art form. It doesn't last forever. It requires constant upkeep and maintenance, repainting, redoing. The piece over here by Maestro Moreno, Xolo, was completely redone in Red Wing last month. And this summer, we're going to work with youth, with elders, with anybody from the community who wants to participate to repaint the piece. And then, of course, Miriam, who's coming in July, will be repainting a couple of her pieces as well that need some upkeep. So in any ways, this is a kind of art form that's a little bit closer to zookeeping than to permanent public art. We're going to be here every day keeping track of our Alebrijes, our creatures. And of course, it requires years and years of work. So again, first and foremost, las gracias a los maestros, artistas, artesanos de la Ciudad de México. I'm the executive director of the Minnesota Latino Museum. And for those of you who are wondering, where is this museum? It's right here. We don't have any walls. We don't have a building. We're proposing a building right here at Island Regional Park in partnership with the city of St. Paul. And for us, this exhibit is a kind of proof of concept to show that we are able to bring high quality arts programming to St. Paul and to the state of Minnesota. I want to thank, secondly, but this is really from the bottom of my heart, to Mr. Fernando Ramirez, my brother. Fernando, in many ways, made this project happen. He brought, in fact, a larger exhibit to the western suburbs of Chicago in 2022. And Fernando and I have been working together since 2019 or 2020, algo así. We're co-founders of the Mexican Cultural Arts Alliance, which is the only national coalition of Mexican-led arts and culture organizations. And when Fernando did this exhibit, he had requests from all over the country, including Atlanta, Georgia, I believe Richmond, Virginia, next year. And he decided to bring it here to Minnesota first. And that wouldn't have happened if we hadn't been working together for so long. I believe in 2023 we did a 2-day trip in a 26-foot box truck to Santa Fe. We almost got lost in the desert a couple of times, but we survived and we're here. También quiero agradecer al maestro Carlos Tortolero, que nos visita de Chicago. Master Carlos Tortolero, president and founder of the National Museum of Mexican Art in Chicago, Illinois, who's, I believe, retired last year and now is president emeritus of the museum. Oh, yeah, he's still working. When I met Carlos back in 2019, he showed up. I used to be the art director at CLUS, Comunidad Latinas Unidas en Servicio, over on the east side of St. Paul. And I sent an email to the National Museum of Mexican Art saying, like, oh, we're thinking about opening this little gallery. It's a Latino-focused gallery. You know, we don't really know what we're doing, but anything you want to collaborate on, that would be really nice. And that same day, I got an email from Carlos, and it said at the bottom, president and founder of the National Museum of Mexican Art, call me today. And I was like, okay. So I called him, and ever since then, he's been really our biggest supporter. They drove from Chicago to be here today. And, on days when nobody else supported me, when I decided to quit my job and start a new organization, Carlos really stood by me the whole way without hesitation. And I really believe that Carlos is one of the most important national cultural leaders in terms of Latino arts and culture in the United States. Mil gracias, Carlos. También quiero agradecer a la increíble campeona del pueblo aquí en Minnesota, la representante María Isa Pérez Vega. Aquí la tenemos. I gotta be honest, you're not supposed to make a lot of political enemies when you're in the arts, but I see so much legacy funding, and I'm looking over at Mr. Hussein here, go to organizations that don't actually focus on artists. And a lot of money just goes into these sort of like pseudo arts programming that is not really for artists or for the community. And what I saw when we met with Representative Perez Vega back when she was running for office was that not only is she an incredible political leader, but she's also an incredible artist, a Latina artist. And really for us, for the first time as Latino artists here in Minnesota, I really feel that this is really the first time in our history in the state that we have a champion for Latino arts and culture in our state. So mil gracias, Representante Pérez Vega. Oh, there's my mentor, Ruthen. Hey, Ruthen, from McAllister College. So lastly, I want to thank Director Andy Rodriguez and Mayor Melvin Carter here for joining us and for supporting our work. For me, as somebody who grew up in St. Paul, who's from here, who considers himself a Mexisotano, it's always struck me that the riverfront hasn't been properly cared for, right? And so for us, we believe that the Minnesota Latino Museum project, as well as this non-wall museum project right here, can bring attention to this beautiful park. I mean, we're on the island in the downtown culture district. What more do you want? I mean, this is like the best possible park system that we can imagine. And I think we can work with the park system in St. Paul to bring arts and culture, to partner with the nonprofit sector and with the government sector to create access and beauty for our whole communities. So thank you to Mr. Rodriguez and to Mr. Melvin Carter. Bueno, no voy a hablar mucho más, solo quiero hacer un poco de comentarios como mexicano también. For me, growing up in Minnesota, my mom's from Mexico City. My dad is from here, from Minnesota. I think my dad is here. Oh, there's my dad. My mom's, I think, on a tour in Japan right now, so she couldn't make it. Our culture really isn't represented in the state. The Minneapolis Institute of Art, which is this beautiful, wonderful museum. I love arts from all over the world. I think just like 2 years ago, they figured out that Latin America exists. They just hired a curator of Latin American art at MIA. There's been galleries and curators from all over the world for different cultures, and really only in the past recent years, the art system in the state of Minnesota has made openings for our community. So for us as Latinos, as Mexicanos, as people of diverse communities, and as practicing artists, first and foremost, we believe that art can have a transformative impact on our society and in our lived environment. And we're seeing that happen right here in this island. We brought in these sculptures a week ago. We've been redoing the island, and all of a sudden, this beautiful park looks amazing. And it didn't look amazing about a week ago. So we think that if we have these sculptures here all summer long and into the fall, you're going to see the park change. You're going to see the public's reaction and relationship with this park system change. And we believe that this is the kind of work that we should be doing for our city, for our culture, and for our state. Con eso, quiero introducir al alcalde, Mr. Mayor Melvin Carter.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it, and welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for coming out here to be with us here today on Raspberry Island. This is such an exciting space for us that we host so many different types of things, and to have this here now this summer is defining for us. It's incredible. I've said it before. You show me a great city, I'll show you great art. You show me an international city, I'll show you great international art. Art is how we make space more than just a place. Art is how we turn places into homes. Art is how we uplift our culture, uplift our identity, uplift our stories. You know, I grew up in an arts organization that my mother founded, and we learned a tradition of art. There wasn't, well, I'll say that there was secondarily for entertainment value. There was primarily to pass on stories, primarily to pass on morals, primarily to pass on culture, primarily to celebrate individuality and identity. And the fact that it was something fun to look at, or something fun to dance to, or something fun to watch was actually a secondary purpose. That's how core, that's how critical art is to so many of our cultures in this space. As I hear you say, this museum without walls. We were talking earlier, we talk a lot at City Hall about, with my team, about the difference between the word city, if you spell it with a capital C, versus the word city if you spell it with a lowercase c. In one instance, it's an entity, an organization, and in one instance, it's a community. And we've had to decide that our primary purpose is to be a community, not to be an entity, that the entity exists solely for the purpose of advancing and building community, of advancing and building the people within those spaces. And so as I hear this conversation about a museum that has chosen to build connections to arts and culture even before we have the opportunity to build bricks, that to me is that same type of spiritual decision, that this is about community. It's not about just place for place sake. That's really remarkable. Even as we talk about stories, you know, there's a fable. There's an Aesop fable about a man and a lion arguing over whether men or lions are more powerful. And they take a walk through a forest and they come to a clearing. And in the clearing, there's a sculpture of a man with his foot on a lion's head. And the man says, "See, that's proof that men are more powerful than lions." And the lion says, "No, that's proof that men build sculptures." And that's a story about the importance of being able to tell our own stories, being able to be curators of our own stories, to be able to be creators of our own stories. And one of the things that I love about the culture, and one of the things that I love about the Alebrijes we see here today, is this notion that this is not a static point in time that we expect to sit still and look the same way for the next 20, 25 years. Because guess what? Our community doesn't sit still and look the same for the next 25 years. The fact that young people young people of all ages. The fact that artists, the fact that even as we celebrate this art in this space, we'll get a chance to experience it recreating and it being rebirthed over and over again. It is a direct testament to the way community works. It's a direct testament to the fact that this art really is about celebrating people in place in the ways that people celebrate in place. I want to just thank the Minnesota Latino Museum, the Mexican Cultural Center, DuPage, for bringing these magnificent works to our city. I definitely want to thank you, Director Rodriguez, with all the city staff folks in the space who had something to do with working on helping to make this possible. Raise your hand so we can give you a big round of applause. Thank you. I just want to say thank you to all of you being here. Because as we talk about the sacred nature of art, the sacred nature of all of the things that art can carry in culture, one of the most critical aspects of that is the receiver of the art. And again, in many cultures, the line gets blurred between the artist and the audience, because we find that we end up creating expression together. And we find, and again, in the storytelling tradition that I grew up in, the responsibility that you have when you hear a story is to tell a story. And more specifically, not to tell the person's story who told you the story, but to pass it forward as your own story. The responsibility is to put your own identity into it and pass it forward so it can be the same type of living organism that we're talking about when we celebrate the art that's in this space today. So I thank you all for being here, for honoring the work of these incredible artists with your presence, for honoring the work of these incredible artists with our ability to view the art in this beautiful park with more than our eyes, but with our spirits, and allow it to touch us and to change us so that we can together tell a story that touches and changes our city for the future. Thank you so much. That's right. And let me say, we acknowledge the state representatives and the state leaders who have been super helpful in ensuring that those state legacy dollars are moving, that those state legacy dollars are supporting art and artists from all of our communities. It's super important, and we really appreciate their work. We're excited to kind of connect that with some of the work that we do through our cultural arts program, our Cultural Star, and some of the work that we do on the local level to support artists, to help make sure that this is a vibrant and thriving space that is full of expressions of identity just like we see all around us. So without further ado, I certainly would like to bring to the stage our state representatives who are here with us. State Representative Maria Isa Perez Vega, State Representative Samakab Hussein, and Mary Clarity, thank you for being here. And I'll give it to you.
Buenos dias. Take my glasses off so I can see the vision of what community represents. Representative Maria Isa Perez Vega, I have the privilege and the honor to represent the district that we're sitting here in our great capital city of St. Paul, and I want to thank everybody from the Minnesota Latino Museum, Neomuralismo de Mexico, and the fantastic artists that are here and continuing to be here in our state of Minnesota. This is the seeds. I don't want to say seeds. I want to say that these are the branches that we need to continue to plant, because we're here on the flats, the connection of the flats to Raspberry Island, which is the first Latino community in the state of Minnesota. And it is also a community that has survived. And when we talk about the arts is healing. The arts is medicine. and the continued growth of our Latino community, not just here in our great capital city of St. Paul, but throughout this entire state, from greater Minnesota when we talk about the borders of International Falls and Moorhead, to southern Minnesota when we talk about the expansion of our Latino community in Rochester, Wilmer. I want to give pride to also those that create the arts in those towns that are farming and are agricultural leverage in this state, such as Worthington. These are all spaces that are going to be connected with the branches that have came from the legacy of our Latino history in Minnesota. And this isn't about, can we find funding? This is about, we're gonna go get the funding. This is about, we're gonna do this work together. This isn't about charity when we talk about our Latino and our communities of color and our indigenous community on this sacred land of the Dakota that we're here on today. This is about engaging for justice. And when we talk about the movements, and specific in this time when things are unsettled in our communities, whether they're in the Twin Cities or across the nation, the arts is what keeps our movimiento moving pa'lante. I want to give thanks to my colleagues who have been there from the start alongside me when we talk about what does legacy look like? What does education look like? And I say legacy and education because this is my vice chair of our Education Finance Committee, Representative Mary Clardy, and this is our amazing, my 65A brother, Representative Hussein, who is the vice chair of our Legacy Committee at the state. And when we look at projects such like the Minnesota Latino Museum, and yes, these are the walls that are going to be built in our communities, we talk about how it's not just about art. We talk about how it's about education. We talk about how it's public safety, environmental justice, and maintaining our parks. And we talk about the continuance of what history is within the arts. Who are those historians? Who are the first teachers here? Who are the first doctors, the first nurses, the first folks to be planting the flowers from our community that are continuing to gauge whether you are in Mexico, El Caribe of Latino America, or South America and Central America. Minnesota, this river connects us to Latino America. And that's why it's so important that everyone is here today, and go tell your families, go tell your schools, go tell your communities if you're not from the west side of our St. Paul to come and visit. We've got amazing things happening in this district that we're able to do through the legacy funds and through fighting for education. I spoke with the president of the Ordway Center of the Arts as the Flint Hills is happening this weekend, and how we can work in parallel, how we can work across the cities in our suburban areas where the Latino population continues to grow. But this isn't just about art for Latinos. This is about engaging for all of us as Minnesotans and all of us to visit our community, to dream, to aspire, and si se puede. Gracias.
Good afternoon. My name is State Representative Samakab Hussein. I am the Vice Chair of Legacy and Finance for the state of Minnesota. And I'm honored to see today the legacy funding are reaching out across the state of Minnesota, especially in the west side, and community are celebrating. That gives me more opportunity even to work a little bit more funding to see as a legacy vice chair for those people that underserved communities. I want to thank you for being here today. We are not only celebrating art and culture, this is how we tell our stories. And we want to make sure that every community do have opportunity to celebrate in the state of Minnesota. Not only a cultural festival, but also this beautiful arts. And I want to thank for the Latino Museum for putting this wonderful exhibit together. Let's give it one more prop. This ribbon cutting is not about like just celebrating, but we want to make sure that we give ongoing funding for those people so they can tell their stories and make sure that the education is, that's how we get to know one another. It's art. Art is very powerful. Without even speaking, just looking at it, this exhibit, it tells you stories. It tells you the identity. It tells you who they are. It tells you the education. And that's how we need to talk to one another. And I just want to thank for Representative Brasvega, who has been a champion and making sure that she's pushing me every time to make sure that I include it for the Latino Museum, which we have done it. And also, you do see an empty wall right now, but we are working in the state of Minnesota, make sure that with the city and the state and the county to make sure that we get funding for this the museum within the next couple of years. We're still working on the bonding, and that is one of the top priority for us in the state of Minnesota. And thanks to Representative Vega. And as you know that we continue also through the legacy, we are funding also festivals across the state of Minnesota and make sure that every community have opportunity to celebrate their cultural identity. We put $17 million on site to have every community and every organization in the state of Minnesota to apply, including the Cinco de Mayo, including the Rando Day, including Jazz Festival, including every festival that in the state of Minnesota. And we want to thank for City of St. Paul and the Mayor Melvin Carter and for Director Rodriguez for partnership with us, because working together as a collectively, we could deliver a lot. Thank you for having me here, and I'm honored to continue fighting for. Gracias.
Well, as you can see, these two don't say no for an answer. We all came into the same legislature at the same time. I'm coming in as a teacher, and this exhibit in the Art Museum is so important. It's always important for us to see ourselves. So you might think this is important for the children, but it's also important for the elders. The elders to see that it's come to fruition, that this is very important. This is a beautiful exhibit. I'm very proud to be part of it, and I can just see more growth on this. And I think our schools really need to bring their children out here this summer and fall to see this. But continue supporting the museum. Congratulations to the artists and all the visionaries that put this together, and it won't stop here. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rebecca Naker, and I'm the president of the St. Paul City Council and proud to represent Ward 2 on the St. Paul City Council, and so excited to be here with all of you this afternoon. I have been looking forward to this exhibit opening for so long that I actually had a driveway moment this morning, driving to work, listening to NPR and hearing the story about this exhibit. And even though I knew that later this afternoon I was going to be seeing and talking to the same people that I was hearing being interviewed on NPR, I just couldn't get out of my car listening to Aaron talking about this amazing exhibit. And one of the things that I was thinking about as I was listening to him is something that has struck me from the very first time I heard the name of this exhibit. Because the name of this exhibit is Alebrijes, Keepers of the Island. And Keepers of the Island has really resonated with me ever since I first heard it. It felt really right for some reason, but I couldn't put my finger on why. And as I was listening to Aaron on NPR today talking about it, I realized why. Because he was talking about this location on Raspberry Island. He was talking about the island itself. And I was thinking about how islands are really perilous places, right? We might think of a desert island with a palm tree as a beautiful place, but that's in the middle of a dangerous ocean, right? And Aaron was talking about how this very island was a place of transition between West St. Paul, and making that crossing was a very perilous thing to do, especially for the Mexican farmers who were trying to make that crossing. And right now, it feels like we in our country, in our community, in our world, are on an island, a perilous island of time in many ways. And so in a perilous time like this, what can the Alebrijes do for us? What are the keepers of the island doing? And I was thinking that they're doing three things. They're reminding us of our culture and our stories, as so many folks here have said, and specifically of our Mexican culture that is so important, not just to the West Side, but to the entire community and the entire region. They're reminding us of the power of dreams and creativity. These were literally the brainchild of a dream. And they're connecting us to one another, not just the people who are here right now, but the thousands, tens of thousands of people who are going to come and see this exhibit from now and through October. And those three things, being rooted in who we are in our culture, dreaming and connecting with one another, what more could we ask for in a moment of peril like this? So I want to thank Aaron, you for your leadership, as I've said before, for your chutzpah in just keeping going no matter what and making this happen. I want to thank the artists and everyone who is here today and everyone who's helped make this happen. And I want to thank the Alebrijes for keeping us and for continuing to keep us in this moment of peril. Thank you all very much. And now I'm honored to introduce from the Mexican Consulate, Consul Leandro Rivera Soto.
Bienvenidos a todos. Welcome to all of you. My name is Leandro Rivera. I'm Consul of Mexico in the beautiful city of St. Paul. First of all, I would like to thank the artists, officials, institutions, and sponsors for making this possible, and for their commitment in promoting Mexican folk art and culture. For the Consulate of Mexico in St. Paul and for the government of Mexico, these exhibits are fundamental, as they have a huge impact in bringing our people together. Not just the Mexican citizens, but all the people who live in St. Paul, the Twin Cities, and Minnesota. Our friends, our families, our neighbors, our communities. Personally, being born in Mexico City, where we are used to see Alebrijes on a regular basis, I do think that these fantastic and mythical creatures help all of us to recognize and understand different ways to see the world. This is particularly important today, as I do believe that art and culture are two of the most important tools that we have to build bridges to connect the US with Mexico, and Mexico with the US. I know there's a lot of people involved in this project, but I do want to take a minute to thank Aaron, because I know that he's been a key player in coordinating these efforts. Through his insights, his creativity, and most importantly, his heart, he has done something beautiful that I do want you to understand. He has made Mexican and Latino art accessible to all of us by literally thinking outside the box, thinking outside the walls, and bringing art into the streets. Thank you so much, Aaron. And again, these exhibits are beautiful, and thank you to all the artists.
We'll be okay.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay? It sounds like the train has pretty much passed us by. Really excited to be here. My name is Monica Bravo. I'm the executive director of the West Side Community Organization. Thank you. I just want to take a moment to just stop in the space that we're in. And can you feel the breeze, right, on your face and on your person, and the flow of the river and the ground that's under us, and how that river flows all the way to the Gulf of Mexico? This is a beautiful and magical space. And I am so excited to see Latino Mexican art displayed and amplified here on the West Side, and it was for our city. This is just a small sample of what's to come and what can be. The imagination and inspiration and disruption of the violence and things that have gone on in this community can all be bridged by coming into spaces where we can find our identities and where we can see and imagine a future together. So I'm just really excited about what's to come, what is here now, and I look forward to an entire summer, an entire fall of enjoying this space with you. one thing I want to leave you with is I really believe that this art, particularly coming from Mexico, amplifies something different. It changes the narrative about us. It says that we are artists, we are culture bearers, we are dreamers. It changes the narrative currently in our political climate that says we're the criminals. No, that's not true. Take a look around you. Enjoy the art. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. As a St. Paul and West Side resident, I could not be more thrilled to be in this beautiful space today. I have come down here so many times over the years, and I have never felt more joy than I do right now. I am the president and CEO of Neighborhood House. For over 128 years, Neighborhood House has been welcoming people from over 50 countries to Minnesota and St. Paul to help them thrive and to help them live with dignity in Minnesota. What has come with all those people is their art, their dreams, their imaginations. And for over 128 years, you can only imagine the creativity and the artists that we have in our community. So I could not be more thrilled to welcome this exhibit to St. Paul. We're at Neighborhood House, we are very honored to support the Minnesota Latino Museum in bringing this very powerful exhibit to life. I love the term, a living exhibit, because that truly is what it is. These vibrant creatures are more than just art. They are the dreams, the inspiration, and the creativity of so many people coming together and working together on these pieces. The West Side community is always so open to bringing different things to our community. I did want to, while this exhibit will be here through the fall, there's a group of West Side Consortium came together. It's comprised of the Minnesota Latino Museum, West Side Citizens Organization, Friends of the Mississippi River, Neighborhood House, and West Side Boosters. And we have been meeting bi-weekly. We welcome you to come back on Saturday, June 14th, because we are planning a really fun festival for that day. There will be music, art activities, food trucks, and dancing, and just bringing community together. So that's what we feel that this exhibit is bringing, is for all of us to be able to come together and breathe additional life and excitement into this exhibit. So thank you very much. And I also would be remiss without a huge thank you to the artists and for everything that you brought. Thank you to all of you who have come, and okay, I may not be able to say that exactly how it was just thrown there, but Carlos and I became great friends. We had a big kickoff at Neighborhood House and had a beautiful dinner. And Carlos Totero, did I say that right? No. Okay. Bear with me. He'll give a better introduction of himself, but he came, he's told so many great stories. I've been to the museum in Chicago that he has been the executive director of, and while it's a beautiful museum and I will continue to go there, I want the same thing in our community. So Carlos.
I can't wait to a few years down the line to come here and walk inside the museum. It's going to be amazing. It really is. You all should come up here when this is over and look at them from this angle. It's amazing. It is just amazing. All this beautiful art here. It's fantastic. And like everybody else said, you have to thank the artists. They're so important. What they do is amazing. And these two people here, okay, Fernando and Aaron, these are grassroots groups. They don't have millions and millions of dollars, yet I bet you, because in Chicago, what was it, 500,000 people came? This is probably going to be the largest attended arts event in St. Paul's history, in Minnesota's history. And two people just working their rear end off, folks, because that's what they did to make this happen. And that's the magic of art, the beauty of art. You know, our country's in trouble right now. It is, and the democracy is being attacked. The arts are essential to a healthy democracy. And a healthy democracy is great for the arts as well. They both should feed off each other. But what they've done is really, really amazing. And as a founder of the museum, I am just pure joy to see someone like Aaron, you know, the great work he's doing. And I can't wait to see it. I hope I live long enough. But it's going to be an amazing, amazing institution that everybody's going to share. And I want to say the artists, in a sense, are giving everybody here one big abrazo, which means hug, by bringing these pieces here. And you are giving them a big abrazo by being here. This is the magic of the arts. There's no other thing I know that can bring people together. And we all have to understand that we're not all the same. And that's good. We'll be a very boring, we'll be a very boring planet, and we'll be a dumb species if we all walked and talked the same. So it's really great that we have this, and we're all equal. So that means, so it's okay to be, it's okay if we're not the same, but we always have to be equal. So that's what the arts does. Congratulations, everybody. Thank you for being here. It's great to see. I'm from Chicago. I go all across the country to see great art. This is great art. Support these art organizations in St. Paul. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Maestro Edgar Camargo.
Hola, buenas tardes. Soy Edgar Camargo, vengo de la Ciudad de México, de Iztapalapa para el mundo, como Los Ángeles Azules.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Edgar Camargo. I come from Mexico City, from Iztapalapa specifically, from Iztapalapa to the world, like they say in Los Ángeles Azules, which is a great cumbia group from Iztapalapa.
Antes que nada, quisiera agradecer a todos y cada uno de los que hicieron posible esto. Me hicieron sentir como en casa, y no porque tengan mi casa un río corriendo al lado, sino que
I wanted to thank everybody here who made this possible. You're making me feel at home, and it's not that I have a river right by my home.
todas y cada una de las personas que se acercaban a platicar con nosotros lo hacían sin fijarse mi color, mi raza, mi nacionalidad. Se acercaban brindándome esa cordialidad que la gente de Minnesota tiene.
We've been here installing for all week, and there's been people from all backgrounds come and talk with us, people of all races, ages, nationalities, and all of them have approached me with respect and cordiality in a wonderful Minnesota way.
Por eso me sentía en casa, y por eso tengo la necesidad de expresarles mi agradecimiento porque nos han permitido que estos alebrijes invadan esta hermosa isla, que por un momento sea la isla de los Alebrijes.
And that's why I feel at home, and that's why I want to thank you for letting us have our Alebrijes come and invade this island, and for a period of time for it to be the island of Alebrijes.
Muchas gracias.
¿Por qué no nos comenta un poco de Michael o de Jonás?
Okay.
Escoge uno.
Michael.
Maestro is going to speak about his piece, Michael, right behind you.
Bueno, alguna vez escuché que dijeron que yo, siendo el más pequeño de los maestros artesanos, había hecho de las piezas más grandes.
So the other artisans, cartoneros, they talk about how I'm the smallest one of all the artisans, but I did the biggest piece.
Bueno, pues Michael representa a mi suegro que falleció durante la pandemia.
Michael represents my father-in-law who passed away during the pandemic.
Y por eso lo quise hacer así de grande.
And that's why I wanted to make him so big.
Pues no me resta más que agradecer y decirles que una vez más el arte rompe fronteras. Muchas gracias.
So I just want to say thank you and repeat that art breaks down all barriers and frontiers. Maestro Alberto Moreno.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Alberto Moreno, soy artesano de la Ciudad de México, de Iztapalapa también. Quería comentarles que los alebrijes, ante todo, son sueños materializados.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Alberto Moreno. I'm also from Mexico City, Iztapalapa as well. And I want to comment that first and foremost, alebrijes are dreams made into reality.
Entonces, para mí, estar aquí en este hermoso país y en este lugar tan increíble que es la isla, para mí es un sueño.
And just like the Alebrijes, for me to be in this amazing country and to be in this amazing location, this island, is a dream come true.
Y quería comentarles también que les agradezco mucho el que hayan venido.
And I also want to say I'm very grateful that all of you came today.
Sí, igual dice Falo. Sí. Quisiera comentar una de mis piezas. Su nombre es Bicéfalo entre el bien y el mal. Esta pieza representa lo que hacemos cada persona, ya que está inspirada en el yin y el yang. Y cada situación o decisión que tomamos en la vida puede ser buena o mala, pero es lo que nos va fijando como personas.
I want to talk about my piece Bicéfalo, between good and evil. This piece represents yin and yang, especially for us as individuals, as people, making choices. Sometimes we make good choices, sometimes bad choices, and those are the actions that define us as individuals.
Y quisiera agregar que venimos a traer esta exposición porque es un pedacito de nuestro país y todo lo hacemos con el corazón y con pasión. Muchas gracias.
And I want to finalize by saying that this art form, this exhibit, is a small piece of our country, and we bring it with love and with passion for the work. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And let's say cheese one time and pose. Everybody
Queso.
cheese.
Yes. Yes.
And maybe we can get a big 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready? 5, 4,